Fox and the Rabbit is a Cartoons classic cartoon from Walter Lantz Productions. This was released in 1935. It's directed by Manuel Moreno and written by Walter Lantz and Victor McLeod. And I thought this was okay. I think it was maybe about 2 minutes longer than it needed to be. Right around the time I feel like the story should have been wrapping up, it kind of went on a little bit longer, but not to the end where I thought it wasn't very good. But I definitely think it could have been a little bit tighter, a little bit neater. But in general, it was pretty decent. And I really liked the animation style. Well, eventually, it took me about a minute or so to kind of get used to the style. I wasn't completely in love with it, but once it got going, I actually found that I was rather enjoying it. So this is a story, believe it or not, about a rabbit and a fox. And this little rabbit goes off to school, and he's told to go straight to school, and he sees this fake vegetable patch. Now, we, the viewer, know it's fake because we see the fox putting it up to try and trick the bunny rabbit. And the rabbit is very tempted, but he remembers his mother's warning about going straight to school. So off he goes to school, and then he comes up with a trick to get out of school. And I won't say what it is, I won't completely spoil it, but he comes up with a way to get out of school because he cannot stop thinking about this, what he thinks is a vegetable patch. And off he goes to get the vegetables, and very quickly he realizes they're not real vegetables. And just as he realizes this, there is no time to run away. The fox goes for him, and the rest of the cartoon, pretty much the bulk of the cartoon, is the fox trying to get the rabbit. And what I will say is that we went into an environment I wasn't expecting. We definitely had some humor and some comedy in ways that I hadn't anticipated with this kind of story. A lot of visual fun with things that are, well, the rabbit's interacting with things. I don't want to give away too much, but certainly when I started watching this, I had an idea of what to expect, and actually there were some surprises along the way. And as I said, the animation style is generally quite nice. It's a very red cartoon. There's a lot of red in this, and that's not a problem, just an observation. We do have a lot of kind of earthy tones as we are outside a lot, and we have the bright white of the bunny. I really like the design of the bunny. He's very, very cute. And ultimately, it was a nice little cartoon. The ending, the last few seconds, are very, very disturbing. I will, with a spoiler warning in a moment, tell you what bit I'm on about, but it definitely wouldn't be shown today like that, put it that way, but I'll talk about that in a second. It's not the best. As I said, I feel like it could have started to wrap up at about the 6-minute mark, but it actually went on for about 8 minutes, and I feel like they were just dragging things out unnecessarily. I didn't care for the last few minutes. But generally, up until that point, I thought it was pretty good. Not perfect, but I enjoyed it well enough. And if it sounds like it would appeal to you, then I'd say Fox and the Rabbit is worth watching. I doubt I'd ever watch it a second time, but as a one-time watch, I'd say it's worth a go. I will now tell you the bit at the very end that I was talking about just before, so this is the last thing that I have to say. This is I guess a spoiler for how it ends. And the last thing we see is the mother rabbit punishing our protagonist for obviously what had happened, and she does this by putting him over her knee and spanking him until her entire handprint, which looks like a human hand, which in itself is slightly strange because the rabbits don't have human hands, but she leaves this bright red handprint on the rabbit's butt, and it's not the final thing I expected to see. It is something that I think would not be shown today, but it's just an observation, not a criticism, just something that stood out to me as being worthy of note, as being slightly disturbing. That aside, it's not a disturbing cartoon. It's pretty well done, and if it appeals to you, I'd say Fox and the Rabbit is worth watching.